often filled with people trying to make a quick buck, often at fans' expenses. But sometimes someone on the fringes comes up with an exhibition idea that goes down a storm. Let me tell you about a couple of them. Mallorca 2007. Rafa Nadal and Roger Federer compete in what was dubbed the Battle of the Surfaces, a unique idea that reportedly almost got cancelled at the last minute when worms got into the grass. An 11th hour turf delivery got the match on, and despite some dodgy bounces on the new green stuff, Rafa and Roger slugged out a 3-set epic. Tennis has a history of exhibitions too, with the Battle of the Sexes in 1973 captivating audiences worldwide as Billie Jean King took on the former world #1 men's player Bobby Riggs, who talked down the women's game. Billie Jean King won. In motorsport, there was Monzanapolis in the 50s when American Indy cars went up against European F1 cars. But perhaps the
Good evening, it's the Final Word phone in here on talkSPORT with me, Majestic, alongside experienced Premier League gaffer and experienced FA Cup gaffer, Alan Pardew. And welcome to Groundhog Day, the deja vu show, where we talk about how bad Manchester United and Spurs are. It happens every Sunday. Both out of the FA Cup, and both sides have very unhappy fans. And both sets of supporters know the Sunday drill. They know the number, 037 17 22 33 44. We'll talk Tottenham later, but for now, Manchester United and Brighton fans, the lines are now open for you as the Seasiders go into the hat for the 4th round of the FA Cup at the expense of Manchester United. Yes, Macclesfield from the National League North are through to the 4th round, and Manchester United are not. 03717 22 33 44. Elsewhere, West Ham got a huge win against QPR, and Mansfield completed a giant killing against Sheffield United. See, Mansfield, Macclesfield, all the M's, apart from Manchester United.
M&M.
And Arsenal's quadruple campaign. Oh, wow. Is that what we're talking about? Arsenal for the quad. Continued, and they swept aside Portsmouth. How strong do Arsenal look? And have you been to a game today? Are you on the way home? Because up and down the country, there'll be people driving home right now, listening to us here on talkSPORT. Then we want to hear from you and how long you've got of your journey to go. Who's making the furthest journey tonight? 03717 22 3344. Of course, if you're, sat at home on a Sunday night, you can watch us in glorious HD here from our beautiful studio on the 17th floor of the News Building in London. Just head over to YouTube or on your smart TV. You can watch Madge and Pards in glorious HD. That number that you need, write it down, add it to your contacts, 03717 22 3344. WhatsApp messages included as well. So much to talk about. It's Sunday night. It's Madge, it's Pards. It is the Final Word. That is right. It's the Final Word phone in here on talkSPORT with me, Majestic, and Mr. Alan Pardew. How are we, Pards?
Very good, Madge.
You was at Spurs yesterday, weren't you?
I was at Spurs, yes. Getting in and out of the stadium, always good fun. When you get in, though, a marvellous place.
Oh, well, did you have a problem getting in?
Well, the actual transport there was difficult, and the transport away is difficult, isn't it?
They were being funny about my bag yesterday.
Yeah, and there's certain bags you've got to have a certain size under.
A4.
Yeah, A4.
I'm like, my laptop's bigger than A4.
Yeah.
Oh, no, laptop's in the stadium. I bought it 5 times. But thankfully, for me, one of our great listeners, Angry Matt, who's now just Matt, he has the burger van near Spurs, so I left my bag with him.
Slipped it in the burger van.
And now my bag stinks like a burger van.
That lovely fried onion smell.
Oh, honestly, it doesn't smell great.
Well, I would say this, right? I think it's been an enjoyable 3rd round of the FA Cup.
Even though Spurs are out.
Yeah, I know. An enjoyable in terms of so many factors, some really good games, some competitive games, some underdog wins.
The stories.
No VAR, and actually no controversy.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely soured through that round with no VAR. There you go.
Little point there from Mr.
Yeah, well,
Pardew.
we might talk about that later.
Brighton, they go through to the 4th round of the FA Cup. Pards, Danny Welbeck to put a sting into Manchester United. Great player.
Yeah, it's funny how those things sort of turn up, isn't it? They're having a difficult time, Man United, difficult season. Obviously, the manager's gone. Caretaker manager today in Fletch, who's obviously been at the club many, many years, all through the glory years, etc., etc. And then the old boy that they released many moons ago, smashes it in the top corner, and they're out the cup.
Yeah.
And I thought that was an interesting point by Adrian, saying about how many games they're going to have this year. 40 games, two games in the cup and 38 in the league. Wow. I mean, that's...
Well, your money back season ticket, didn't you?
Dear, that's...
They are now playing for a European place.
And just a footnote on the game before, right? I just want to say this about Arsenal, right? Because if you ever want a lesson, going away from home into what is like a very, very difficult place to go anyway, Portsmouth, and have the right mentality, forget about how good they are technically, etc., etc. That Arsenal team turned up, I thought, with the perfect mentality to win that game. They went 1-0 down, and they didn't, it wasn't like they just come out and went, yeah, we'll show you. And worked as hard as Portsmouth, and obviously the technical quality come through in the end.
Absolutely. So there's loads to digest, and the phone lines are now open on 03717 223344. And as I look on our screen, Pards, it is filling up already. Let's go straight to the phone lines. Mabs joins us. He's a Man United fan. Hello, Mabs.
Hello, mate.
Out of the FA Cup at the first hurdle, how are you feeling?
All I'm going to say is if Ruben Amorim was in charge today, we were winning that match. Even Brighton's own manager said, the last time we faced Ruben Amorim is a world-class manager. We sacked a manager who won in 11 months at Anfield, at Etihad and Emirates. Yeah, he took us to the Europa League final, just the way Klopp took Liverpool in Europa League final in his first season. Klopp got fourth in his last day of the second season. We should have given Ruben until the end of the season. It just made no sense. This sacking made no sense. Absolutely no sense.
You were near the top four as well. Like, you were a couple of points off.
We should have given him till end of the season. This sacking just made no sense, honestly.
Mabs,
it absolutely made no sense.
It does in terms of what he said.
Sorry?
In terms of what he said last weekend, because, of course, we was on air after that Leeds game. And, when he talked about, I came here, I'm the manager.
It doesn't matter because... He probably wanted a player, Semenyo or whatever it is, and they came out now all of a sudden said, we can't get that player and we're not going to give you no funding for January. So obviously I can understand the frustration. I get where he's coming from. If you want United to compete at the top level, you want them to win. Omar Barada said he wants United to win Premier League by 2028, I think. You need to spend, my friend, if you want to win the league by then. And you want to get top four, you want to push for it, you need a player or two for January. And they're saying to him they got no funding. So I can understand Ruben's frustration. And obviously you can't be telling a manager or coach how to be playing. Wilcock said himself, I saw a video of him saying himself, I can't help but tell managers how to coach. He said that himself.
Well, there's nothing to suggest that he did tell him how to play. But what there was definitely a falling out over something. These ex-players,
these Nicky Barts and Paul Scholes coming out and disrespecting the manager, saying this guy doesn't understand United. Mate, the last two games, what have you seen? Darren Fletcher's been in charge. Johnny Evans has been the assistant. What have you seen the United way? You need to let that go, give a manager a time, let him put his philosophy in, and let United come back that way.
It's a great point, to be fair. This whole idea of Manchester United of old and Sir Alex Ferguson, we saw it today, they scanned round over to Fergie and he sat with Nicky Butt. Is there any way for Manchester United to evolve and have the new version of Manchester United, as long as there's always going to be this depth of nostalgia and it's just sort of stunted by, oh, that's not the Manchester United way, or this isn't, etc.?
Well, first and foremost, you've got to have a playing staff that warrants wearing that jersey. And, when I look at that Manchester United team, particularly at the back, there's no foundation for me to build on, in terms of a back line where you can be solid. If I even look at Spurs back four, I think Spurs back four better than Man United's any defence they could put out, whoever's fit. I just think that is a problem, which they didn't address last summer. The top of the pitch, they addressed a little bit. Obviously, Cunha, who I thought was actually a bit disappointing today, and Bumba, who's away, he'll come back. So, at the top of the pitch, and Sesko, I thought, was okay today. I thought he did some nice things. He took a couple of early strikes. There's still so much to do behind the front three, though. The midfield, the back four, the goal is only just finding his feet. There's a lot of problems for whoever the manager is, whether it's Solskjaer, Fletch, Amarin, if he'd have stayed. There's a lot of problems in that squad in terms of balance and cohesion and fight. I mean, the one thing whenever you played against Man United, you knew they were great, Maj, but they always had the fight in them, and it was always difficult to try and kind of outfight them. And that was the only way you was going to win, because you couldn't technically beat them. But them days are long gone. I mean, and Brighton were fairly comfortable, I thought.
Yeah, they did look very comfortable indeed. Right, 03717 223344 is the number to call us. Peter's messaged us. He said, I imagine Pard's fantastic show as always. I imagine you were great last night too. Thank you very much, Pete. I'm absolutely loving the Man United being rubbish. I love it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm sure
they were the worst glory hunters when attending school in the 90s, and I think this is brilliant. Anyway, cheers, lads. I won't see Man United in the fourth round of the FA Cup.
Well, he's obviously pleased, isn't he? Not everybody will be pleased, though, and I think there's some real head-scratching going on in that boardroom, because where are they going next? Obviously, I mean, if Fletch would have won today, would they give it to him to the end of the year? Maybe. But now it looks like they're going to have to make a move on Michael Carrick or Solskjaer. That's what it looks like from the reports.
Here we go. Manchester United's next game is live on talkSPORT on Saturday at 12:30 as they face Manchester City in the Manchester Derby. That's Saturday, 12:30.
Wow, what a game, eh?
But for now, keep your Manchester United Brighton calls coming into us at 03717 223344 as Manchester United season looks like it's over. It's done. It's the final word on talkSPORT. Okay, campers, rise and shine, and don't forget your booties, because it's a cold one out there today. What's that from, Pods?
But this song...
And what I just said. It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach? That's right, woodchuckers. It's Groundhog Day. That's right, it is Groundhog Day on talkSPORT. As the weekend concludes on the final word with me, Majestic, Spurs fan, broadcaster, international DJ, and former manager of the year, Alan Pardew, on the final word talking about Spurs and Man United seasons being over.
That's the theme tune from the film, is it?
It's in the scene when Bill Murray wakes up every morning in that same...
The alarm goes off,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Yeah, it's a great film.
Okay, cameras, rise and shine, and don't forget your booties. It's a cold one out there.
And it was a cold one today.
It was. Great film, by the way.
Yeah, great film.
And it is, Groundhog Day here on talkSPORT as Manchester United lose at Old Trafford to Brighton for the third time in the last 5 meetings between the two teams at Old Trafford.
We could actually do a seminar, me and you, about Man United and Spurs, couldn't we?
We
could actually. I mean, we know almost as much as anybody else.
A TED Talk.
A TED Talk.
A Teddy Talk in our team.
10 grand, please.
Give us a call, 03717 222 Let's waste no time. Let's go straight to Andy. He's a Man United fan. Good evening, Andy.
Evening, boys. How are we?
Listen, I'm probably as good as you, as my team got dumped out of the cup yesterday as well. Season looks over for Spurs, and it does Man United as well, mate.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous now. It's like myself. I grew up in the Fergie era, so obviously that Alan hit it on the head. When you used to go to Old Trafford, it used to be a fortress. Teams used to be scared. Now they can waltz in, do what they want. There's not that fear factor is long gone. It's like I'm trying to tell my kids now, this isn't the United that I knew to grow up and love. It's a shambles from, there's no go on some of the players. I feel sorry for Darren Fletcher. He's been thrown in.
Yeah.
And, he's got to try and manage with what was left from Amarin. I feel sorry for Amarin because he just got, he spoke out, which I think he was right to do because he's right in what he's saying. Jim Ratcliffe has promised all this stuff when he come in. Nothing's happened. Jason Wilcox has come in. I think he's had an influence on Amarin going, as well as Omar Barada, because they were there at Burnley. How close were they to the touchline? Were they shouting stuff down to Darren Fletcher, trying to tell him what to do? There's no structure to the club. It's just a hot mess. And as a United fan, it's getting really frustrating. I'd love to see the Glazers and Ineos go and just get bought out by a Saudi club. I know that's controversial as it is, but something needs to change.
But what is that change part? This is the big thing, and it's you know what?
I think the shame for Man United fans is the fact that the Glazers, who all fans fell out with them.
The Glazers.
I mean, they've hiked the club up with so much debt and then taken so much dividend out of it. It's incredible, right? The financial upsurge that family has had out of that football club. And then Ineos have come in, and everyone assumed that we got a change of ownership ish, because obviously Jim doesn't own it all, but he owns a part of it and he has control of the football. And actually that part of it has fallen down, and that's where I genuinely feel sorry for Man United fans. And, Dan Ashworth come in. They headhunted him. He was going to be the man who was going to put a plan together for this football club to take it forward, which he did at England and Newcastle to a degree, not completely at Newcastle, but he was involved in a lot of decisions making there. And then he was cut away.
Out of nowhere.
And went around when Amarin come in. So, you can put 2 and 2 together there. But, what I would suggest is that I know in terms of what their next decision, all Man United fans are now waiting. What is the next decision? Who's the next manager? Is it going to be Solskjaer, who we paid up and who left the football club, and we paid him off to leave because he was so opposed to the needs of the football club?
Not good enough.
Is now, the man to come back and carry the flag? Or is it going to be Michael Carrick, who's, in my opinion, I think would be a decent choice? But what is going to be the brief? Is the brief to the end of the year? Because, we're talking about Manchester United. I remember Teddy Sheringham saying to me, what I can't understand, when I was at Manchester United, it was the biggest club in the world. We had the best manager in the world. And ever since that time, when have we really gone out and got the main man who's in doing the job right now? It was all the managers that have come in have all sort of like not failed, but on the different path to where they not on the real surge.
Well, the last signing that
Amorim
was Van Persie, and that was during Fergie's time.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and we talked about Harry Kane, didn't we? And when Rice come up that window year when they were.
But again, it's as simple as this: the big clubs now are considered, and Declan Rice, when he went to Arsenal, was the best midfielder in the Premier League. Went to Arsenal. Semenyo's one of the best wingers in the Premier League right now. He got Man City. You know, Isak was the best striker in the Premier League. Went to Liverpool. Man United are not in that bracket anymore. For players in the abroad players, yes, like Sesko, etc. They look at Manchester United, but those that are in the Premier League and have gone to Old Trafford and seen, so what? It's not that. Back when Fergie used to call someone. So, unless it's Paul Gascoigne, of course. When Fergie,
or Alan Shearer,
or Alan
they
Shearer,
have been turned down in the past,
but not often. And when he did get turned down, he took it very personally and was offended. But you look at this now. If you are a top player in the Premier League, you're not going to Manchester United. So their pool has decreased. Some of the signings in recent years have gone so wrong, and that going from the Ten Hag who brought in the Antonys and the Martinez, etc., to now. The identity, and they're left with big wages and debt, and the fallout with Ronaldo, which is one of their legends. It's just been a mess, just a real big mess.
And to add to that, you had Rashford and McTominay who have gone away and been fairly well. I wouldn't say Rashford's been a huge success, but he's been quite successful.
Well, they want him.
McTominay has been like probably was voted the best player in Italy in terms of a midfield player. So it is a real
even Højlund.
Even Højlund keeps scoring goals, and they got a big game tonight. They play Inter Milan.
Inter Milan, yeah.
So it's a big game we'll be watching.
And of course, Marcus Rashford is Real Madrid
tonight. Yeah.
So
that's weird.
The ex-Man United boys playing in some big games. Yeah. Listen, the talkSPORT Breakfast Show returns in the morning from 6 a.m. Well, Jeff Stelling is reunited with Super Ali McGoist, and the FA Cup fourth round draw is live on talkSPORT tomorrow at 6:45. But here on talkSPORT, we're still talking your calls on Manchester United crashing out of the FA Cup. The third round.
Crashing out.
Yeah, 03717 22 And Brighton fans, call the same number as this fantastic result for you. We want to celebrate with Brighton fans. Brilliant. The phone lines are now open. Come and have your say on the final word here on talkSPORT.
Hamilton, now at Ferrari, dares to dream of a record 8th F1 world title. The Tifosi will be hoping the Brits can bring glory back to Italy. To many, Ferrari and Formula One are inseparable. They're the only team in the sport today to have competed in the first World Championship in 1950, are the most successful team in history, and have built some absolutely gorgeous cars. Their first driver's title was won in 1952 by Alberto Ascari. Considered one of F1's most dominant and best-loved champions, he drove the iconic Ferrari 500 and defended his title the year after. It was Juan Manuel Fangio in his Ferrari 250 who secured the team's next driver's title in 1956. Remember, he was world champion 5 times with 4 different teams. Mike Hawthorne, Phil Hill and John Surtees also won titles for Ferrari in the 50s and 60s, and the cars back then were beautiful, and they even sounded great, didn't they? Anyway, Ferrari went 11 years without winning a title until Niki Lauda won in 1975 in the iconic 312T. Throughout much of the 80s and 90s, though, Ferrari looked like they'd never go all the way again. The Professor Alain Prost came pretty close in 1990, but lost out to his bitter rival and former teammate at McLaren, Ayrton Senna. It was only when John Todt recruited a swathe of staff from outside of Italy, including Michael Schumacher, that the glory days returned 21 years after their last driver's title. The turn of the century saw the prancing horse sprint to an unprecedented 5 consecutive championship doubles. And after Schumacher left, Kimi Raikkonen reclaimed the driver's title immediately. But despite employing 1,500 people, the Iceman remains the last Ferrari world champion. So, 16 constructors' titles, 7 more than McLaren, and 15 drivers' titles, 4 more than, again, McLaren. Ferrari are truly Formula One's top.
Yeah, good evening. It's the Final Word Phone in here with me, Majestic, and former Crystal Palace gaffer and player Alan Pardew. And yes, Eagle fans, we have to talk about what happened at Macclesfield very shortly. Yeah.
Okay.
A beautiful, beautiful day, wasn't it, for Wayne Rooney's brother?
Yeah, that was quite emotional, wasn't it?
Lovely. I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
But Sunday, that means one thing. It's been a bad weekend for Spurs and Man United. Just how it is. We will talk Tottenham later, but for now, Man United and Brighton fans, the phone lines are now open for you. 03717 22 as the Seasiders send Manchester United out of the Cup. Who are you blaming? Do you agree with some of the callers that United are no longer the same field as Arsenal and Liverpool in terms of being able to sign players? Something I said as well. 03717 22 Imagine Pard Sunday night. It's the final word. Do you know what the irony is? What is Pards as well? With Man United and Spurs being rubbish. Growing up, because there wasn't that much football on TV, Man United was almost like a second team to me. Because like when they won the treble in '99, I pretty much celebrated them like as an English team, and they were brilliant. You know, they were brilliant. So I think for a lot of football fans, they were probably your second team. You know, because and just to see it now, from my Groundhog Day, Spurs being rubbish and them being rubbish, it's just it's not great. But Manchester United, wow, I don't know. If you were to compare the Spurs situation, the Man United situation, which club's in worse of a position? Because obviously Man United have had so much more glory. They're a bigger club than Spurs by far, right? So they're in a real bad way.
Okay. Well, both clubs are have made the same problem. They've recruited poorly. Now, there was a stat I see yesterday, because obviously I did the commentary on the Spurs game. I was absorbing all the stats about Spurs. Since 2019, you've spent 700 net more than Manchester City, i.e. Manchester City have traded, okay, and obviously signed big players with big money, but they've traded big money. So but you are 700 net more than Manchester City. That doesn't make any sense, does it?
I can't believe. I'm going to have to double check that.
That was the stat that I AI'd.
They get it wrong sometimes. We've seen it sometimes when they make your face.
They do sometimes, to be fair. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure that's correct. The Times had it in it too.
Oh, really?
Just to clarify and underline it.
03717 You know what's interesting again, because you already said about Arsenal's performance today, going a goal down, great attitude, come back in, and Martinelli has a bit of a strange week. It's a hat trick. If you compare what they've done over the last 5-6 years, and again, Arsenal fans must be sitting there smug as you like, because people trust the process. Arteta's been in charge of that football team and that football club for the last 5-6 years.
Yeah, he's had a good grip on it.
He's had a very good grip on it, and you can see it from when he came to the club. And there were players there like Aubameyang, big names, big egos.
We was talking about it last week, wasn't we, about how many Chelsea managers have been since Arteta has been manager. It's like, I don't know, 12 or something ridiculous.
And then the same with Man United, and the same with Spurs.
Yeah.
The merry-go-round.
Yeah.
And the thing is, too many cooks. It's like anything in life. If there's too many voices, too many opinions, then you're never going to guide yourselves into a situation where you've got a vision and a philosophy, and that's where we're all going to go for. Everyone thinks differently, don't they? Football seems so differently between different people and the eyes. For example, you as a gaffer, you might like someone who's a workhorse in the midfield. I might like someone who's a bit more creative. It's all opinion-based, isn't it? There's no facts.
Well, there is that. But you also, you have to bring success to get to that time. And fortunately for Arteta, he won that cup, didn't he, in his first year? Was it his first or second year? It might be his first year, I think. And that cemented him a little bit. And sometimes as a manager, you need that cement to have that season where you get a trophy under your belt, and it gives you a bit more time to get through the bad patches. Unfortunately, when these bad patches come around, when you haven't done that, you're going. And particularly in today's era, there's a big piece from Martin Samuel today about who own, the power shift from the manager to the boardroom. And it is so significant. It's massive now. I was at Chelsea in the week. I was at Fulham, to watch the Chelsea game. And obviously, I'm in the boardroom. Liam's in the boardroom with all the Chelsea hierarchy. And to see that kind of in front of me, I'm looking at Liam thinking, wow, you got so many people around you, so many voices, so much access to him. It's a worry. It worries me for him. He's a young coach going into a very, very big club that's very kind of, I don't want to use be careful what word I use here, but it's a real kind of fabric, like a really complicated fabric of ownership.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it difficult when you got one man to answer to. You got, and I don't think you got that at Manchester United, and I don't think you got that at Spurs either. When if you got one man to go to, it makes life a little bit simpler. Well, you got technical directors in the way, you got directors in the way. You don't know who the owner is. I'm
just looking at the Premier League winners list over the last 15 years, for example. We go back to the last time Man United won the Premier League, okay? And one man spoke at Man United at that time, didn't they? It was Alex Ferguson.
Yeah,
he controlled Manchester United, didn't he?
Absolutely.
From there on,
it earned the right to, by the way.
Yes, absolutely. But you look at the dominance of Manchester City. Who runs Manchester City? Pep Guardiola.
Plus the team that got installed before he even arrived at Manchester City.
Yeah.
Remember the team from Barcelona, the team that worked with him?
Yes.
His team went in first. So they actually made him a nice bed for him to come into, i.e. transfers and getting the right kind of players that they knew that he wanted.
And then you look at the other winners in that period of time. Klopp, he run Liverpool. And so it's this whole thing. It's going so wrong at Man United. It's going wrong at Spurs. Chelsea now have changed their model.
They have changed their model.
And, one thing Abramovich did do at that time, he'd let those managers do their thing. Okay, when he'd get with the ump with them, he'd get rid of them. But he did let the managers do their thing when they were winning. And
I think what he did was in terms of, bought into the manager and that because he was quite hands-on, actually, Abramovich.
Yeah.
So, you could get to him. As the manager, you could get to him. Oh, I need this player. I need, I can imagine Mourinho cornering him saying, you got to get me him. You got to get me Eto'o or, whoever he wanted. This is where the power of the manager is being diminished. That's going. You got to go to the technical director and then it gets watered down and then it gets watered down again. And by the time it gets to the main man, he's got 4 or 5 names there, and he's not sure which one the manager wants. And
Pards, I'm going to have to interrupt you there because we're going to go back to Old Trafford where Mark Wilson is with interim Manchester United manager Darren Fletcher.
Cool. Cheers, guys. Darren, obviously a disappointing result. What did you make of the performance?
Good in parts, obviously lots to improve on. I felt like we started well with a good energy. I think their goal really affected us, and we've got to learn to deal with that. Disappointment's a part of football, and it took us a long time to recover from that. But when we moved the ball quick with tempo, we looked like a good team. We just didn't do that for long enough spells in the game.
What's missing here at the moment, in your opinion?
Our confidence is low. I think the players have been used to playing in a certain style. And they've got to find a way to win football matches or see out football matches or not concede goals to give yourself a platform to go and play. So that's where the team's at just now, a little bit fragile. You can see they're conceding goals, and you can see when they concede a goal that they find it difficult to respond to. And the only way around that is actually finding ways to dig deep and grind out a result sometimes. Hard work, graft, coming together as a team, and that's what they're going to have to do.
Have the short-term ambitions changed here, do you feel?
I think, obviously we're the Cups. I still think this squad's good enough to qualify as in the Champions League places. There's still a lot of the season left to play in the Premier League, but they have to come together, and the players are going to have to take responsibility. And I know they care, and I know there's a lot of good lads in there, but for the rest of this season, they can't waste this season for me. So short term, they are good enough to qualify in a Champions League place, but they're going to have to come together and do it themselves.
You say about not wasting the season. Do you know what the future is for you, the immediate future, the Manchester derby next week? Will you be in charge?
I don't know. I think my objective was to take these 2 games. I've done that. I've not had the time to think. Leading a Manchester United team is a massive responsibility, and all my focus and energy has gone into that. I'll review this game, dissect this game, and then I'm sure people will speak to me in the coming days.
Would you want to take the team till the end of the season?
I genuinely haven't thought about it. I've got a role in the club. I genuinely haven't thought about it. I've not had time, and let's see what happens in the coming days.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Cheers.
That was Mark Wilson with the interim Manchester United boss, Darren Fletcher, speaking live on talkSPORT after Man United dumped out of the FA Cup at home to Brighton. Just to go back on that net spend talk we're talking, Man City's net spend has been lower since 2019 compared to Spurs, 320 to 350 mil. Spurs' net spend has been 500 to 550 mil, so it's about 200 million difference. So,
I think you'll find it's more than that if you go back a few more years.
Over another period of time, perhaps, but yeah, from that period of time. But
it's still wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But again, Manchester City, better purchases, better buying, better selling values, etc.
Well, the only context of that I thought about was that the wage bill at Manchester City is probably considerably higher. We know Daniel Levy kept that wage bill quite tight, and I think that's probably where the difference in quality of individual has gone on, if that makes sense. I just want to go back to what Darren just said, saying about Man United getting into the Champions League. They've won 8 games this year in the Premier League. Fulham have won 9, and Everton have won 8. And at the top of that division, you've still got, let's look for 4 or 5 teams then for the Champions League, where you got Arsenal, Manchester City, Aston Villa, Liverpool. Then you could put in the next bracket Newcastle, Chelsea, and Man United. So I think their chances of getting into the Champions League with this squad are very, very slim.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't care who the manager is.
Well, we just heard from Darren Fletcher. What do you have to say about him, saying he's done his 2 games and he's not sure if he's going to be in charge on Saturday? Just feels like more up in the air with Manchester United right now before a huge game that's live on talkSPORT this Saturday at 12:30. United fans, call us 03717 22 344. It's Majestic and Pardew Sunday night. It's talkSPORT. Yes.
We know there's a birthday in the building.
It is the Final Word phone in here on talkSPORT with me, Madge, and Alan Pardew. Shout out to all the Capricorns out there.
Because
yesterday was my birthday.
And you was? Are we allowed to say?
I'm still in my 30s.
Professional comment.
That's the tagline. I'm still in my 30s. Fantastic news.
Well done. Just under the bar. Well done.
Yeah, it was my birthday yesterday.
The underside of the bar and went in.
And I was treated to Spurs losing once again at home at the hands of Aston Villa. It was like Groundhog Day with that one because it was Bendia and Morgan.
Bendia played well, didn't he?
Yeah, and Rodgers with the goals.
Yeah.
And brilliant goals as well, again.
Yeah.
And I said it before, I say it again. I bumped into loads of Villa fans who were fans of the show as well, which is nice.
Yeah.
They were very, very kind. And they were brilliant fans. They brought about 9,000 last night in great song, and they made the atmosphere. And
yeah, they did.
They really did. Yeah, because you was there. Like, you've been to that Spurs stadium a few times, and it can be a little flat at times.
Can be a little flat. I mean, and
that was good last night.
They got it going second half, but I got some thoughts about what I think happened there in the first half, which I talked about on the commentary last night, but I want to elaborate a little bit tonight.
Cool. We'll go through that later on when we talk Spurs being dumped out of the FA Cup in the third round, the same way that Manchester United have. And we'd heard from the interim boss and Man United legend Darren Fletcher.
Yep.
And he just suggested that he was there for 2 games, and he doesn't know what's going on. It sounds like they are ready for the next Manchester United manager. Pards, who is going to be the next Manchester United manager in your opinion?
Well, I don't think there's any doubt about it. If it's Solskjaer, and I think.
Whoa. So Ollie is back at the wheel.
I think it'll be Ollie, and I think it will be to the end of the year.
Well, is this a talkSPORT exclusive? Can we get it out? Because is this Pards saying?
I'm not the agent, by the way.
Is this Alan Pardew with a talkSPORT exclusive?
I'm just
suggesting that Ollie Solskjaer will be the manager of Manchester United tomorrow morning.
I think there's a more than a very, very good chance. Put it that way. And I think Michael Carrick. I'm not sure whether they're trying to. He's in the frame because are they talking him into trying to be number 2 to Ollie? And I think that might be what might happen. If Michael gets it, that will be a surprise for me. So I think Ollie will be there, and I think Michael will go in as number 2, and I think they will get to the end of the year.
Do they not do Gerard Houllier and Roy Evans?
Who knows?
They've tried everything else.
Let's just throw it all in the mix.
Yeah, Roy Keane on the coaching staff.
Well, although they all get a shout, don't they? And
Rio, head of social media.
Yeah, the man of the people, Rio.
He's very good on socials. He'd be good.
He's doing very well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Since he broke away from the TV punditry bazaar.
Always would do.
Yeah.
Big name.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, Alan Pardew there suggesting that he thinks tomorrow morning we might see Ollie back at the wheel of Manchester United. And of course, it's the same Ole Gunnar Solskjaer who took them to, I think, second in the Premier League and got them to a European Cup final only to lose on penalties. Very, very unlucky. So perhaps, Ollie's tenure was a lot better than we thought. Let's go and get a reaction from a fan of Man United who was at the game today. He was at Old Trafford. Sam joins us. Good evening, Sam.
Hello, you all right?
Yes. Did you hear Pards' comments there about the potential return of Ollie? What do you make of that?
I did, yeah. I mean, obviously, to the end of the season, I think it's I won't say a no-brainer, but I think we'd take that for now. Obviously, bit of deja vu last time he come in. He had an unbelievable run, didn't he?
He did.
I remember saying myself, I wouldn't give him the job back, obviously, when he was manager, when he was interim last time, or caretaker, sorry. Just purely because we hadn't achieved anything at the point. We had a couple of good wins. The PSG win, obviously, was great. However, I said it, don't give him the job, and then they did. All of a sudden, we dropped out the top 4. I think we got knocked out the cup, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, we didn't really achieve anything.
There was a negative period, wasn't there?
And then he had 3 years, and it was like, where do we go from here? And with Ollie, I actually liked him, and I think he had a really good thing going. I think it was a good vibe in the camp, before anyone says anything else. But it was a good thing. And then Ronaldo coming, which touches on to the main reason I called. Ronaldo coming, I think, messed up the whole thing we had with Ollie, because he is a winner, and his attitude, and very selfish attitude, I think, messed up the whole vibe of the camp. Maguire was playing well as captain. We had a good thing going. Then all of a sudden, Harry Maguire is all of a sudden Cristiano Ronaldo's captain. It just I think it just seemed like a bit of a joke to Ronaldo, and I think his whole attitude messed up the whole atmosphere we had at the club, and I think that's what I blame for Ollie's downfall, not necessarily as a manager himself.
You can imagine. You can imagine that Ronaldo would have been difficult to manage for Ollie. I can imagine that being a bit of a personality power play by Ronaldo over him in particular.
He admitted himself, didn't he? I think on the Neville podcast that it probably in hindsight was a mistake bringing him back. Obviously, the year before, Cavani was banging him in, really good, top attitude. And then he was sort of phased out when Ronaldo came, changed his number, and that's going to affect him. But unfortunately, what my point is got to be is the players we had. Yes, there was a good vibe, but unless you've got the mentality to play for Man United and be an absolute killer, on the pitch, like what Roy Keane says they need to be, you're never going to succeed because, and that goes for the manager. The main thing we need to do is get a manager who demands that from the players. Now, as you mentioned before, the managers we've had in since, Mourinho aside, even though he was probably past it, we've had no one who's been at the top of their game to make the players sit up, and again, what Keane said, sit up and think, right, I'm going to go to battle for you. Alex Ferguson, all this talk of tactics and coaches and Guardiola's changed the game, but Alex Ferguson was never that. He was just the best man manager around.
Correct.
He wasn't out there on the coaching pitch with the tactics board. He got his coaches to do that.
Well, you've hit an interesting point there, and something that I keep talking about on this show is that you could get a 14-year-old tactically brilliant through his FIFA PlayStation, but the most important thing about being a Premier League manager is managing the players, getting the best out of them and inspiring them to, and a little bit like what we're going to talk about later with Tottenham, what happened in the second half, where you give them a platform where they can go and express themselves and go and fight for the cause. And I think that is a problem at Manchester United. But, the noises that have been coming out all week about Ollie from the former players who are very much, vocal, as very vocal in that particular club. They've all been very, very supportive, and I think that's all part of the PR machine kicking into gear at Manchester United. So it'll be interesting to see what the developments are this week.
If they've got one of their mates there, that they're happy with that. Because you notice, even when the pressure was on, none of them would really go after him, when he was there. But what the main thing I wanted to say was, until we've got that manager, look at the pressure that's on this football club. When Ruben Amorim came in, it almost seemed like every other day he was getting interviewed by a different news source or someone. He had an interview with Sky, interview with BT, ITV, whatever. He was sat down in a chair with someone else every other day. Look at the caretaker. We never seen Chelsea's caretaker manager speak unless it's after a game. Yet Darren Fletcher gets the job. All of a sudden he sat down with BT or whoever it is, Sky, for an interview. The pressure, and you're in the spotlight so much. And there's only a handful of managers out there now who I think can handle that sort of pressure and demand the respect of the players. One of them's Jurgen Klopp. He's not going to come to United. Ancelotti maybe, obviously he's in international. Maybe go for him after the World
Zidane?
Cup. No, I wouldn't say Zidane. Zidane fell into Madrid with the best, one of the best squads of all time, the best midfield to rival Barcelona's free midfield with Casemiro, Modric, Cruz, Ronaldo in his absolute pomp. But his Regions League, he might demand respect for the players, but I wouldn't like Zidane. And the other one who I would go all out for, and whether he wants to come is another question, is Enrique, because he's won a treble at Barcelona, he's gone to PSG, kicked out Mbappe, he's straight away, it's about the team, not the individual, got the best out of them, and he's obviously said he wants to leave. Now, that's the guy you've got to go for, because proven track record, he's got the stones to manage it.
And this goes back. This goes very much back to the point I was making with Madge earlier on, which you obviously was listening to. That's what Manchester United. I'm sure you would endorse this. That's the sort of manager that Man United should be getting, isn't it?
Have to, yeah. And hopefully, if
the Champions League holder currently.
Exactly, and we give Ineos a bit of a hard time, but I think look, even though we're not signing the best players in the world in their positions. We went out and got two of the best players in the Premier League last season in Cunha and Mbeumo.
you know, really good players who turned down other clubs to come to United without Champions League. Newcastle were in for all of them. Sesko turned down Newcastle, who were in the Champions League. I know it's only Newcastle, no offence, Pards, but we, you know, without sounding like cliche, it's United are still a massive club and a massive draw, and the chance to get us back to the top is appealing. You've just got to obviously sell it to the right person, and then the other thing, Story, we say about letting a manager have all the tools. We give Ten Hag all the tools, right? Unfortunately, he messed it up by signing absolute dross for loads and loads of money. Woodward was in charge. When Ferguson left, they changed the whole, like you said before, they changed the whole structure of the club. They went from a football club to a business and a brand. And the biggest thing I remember sticking out was, as soon as Ferguson quit, the next day, United had social media accounts. We never had them under Fergie. We had a Twitter account. We had a Facebook account. And then when Pogba signed, which I actually rated him, I actually liked him at United. I was gutted it didn't work out properly for him, because he was a winner and he had the mentality to play for United. However, they created a hashtag. Hashtag Pogba came out the day of the Liverpool game at Old Trafford. Now, Man United-Liverpool, biggest game in the year for United, and all around the stadium on your little electronic billboards was this hashtag Pogba and a little emoji. That's the focus, selling the brand of Paul Pogba, rather than focusing on the football.
It's a great call. Thank you very much indeed, Sam. Hashtag, we've got to go to a short break. That's why I had to take it.
He was on his box there, mate.
He done brilliant. It was a great call. I would have listened to it more, but we do have to get to a short pause. 03717 223344 is the number to call. Brilliant call there from Sam, very passionate Manchester United fan, who has broke down exactly what he feels is going wrong at Manchester United and when. And
he has some valid points.
There's some great points there.
Yeah.
If you want to have your say, you know what to do. 03717 223344. Alan Pardew has tipped Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be the manager of Manchester United from tomorrow morning. We'll see if that unfolds here on talkSPORT.
Time for another one of those what-if sliding doors moments from the world of football. In 2010, Sam Allardyce's Blackburn Rovers were plodding along in the Premier League, never really in danger of relegation, but not sharp enough in front of goal to challenge for a European place. The club's then head of recruitment, Martin Glover, was alerted to a Polish striker at Lech Poznan, who'd scored 21 goals in 34 games. His name? Robert Lewandowski. Glover and Allardyce flew to Poland to watch the 21-year-old, and they liked what they saw. Conversations were had, and all that remained was for Lewandowski to fly to England to have a look around and talk Turkey. However, a once-in-a-blue-moon geological incident had other ideas. After 187 years of dormancy, the Eyjafjallajökull volcano in Iceland erupted, causing flights across Europe to be grounded for nigh on a month. That meant that Lewandowski never made it to Ewood Park, and Borussia Dortmund beat Blackburn to his signature. He'd go on to win 10 Bundesligas and 1 La Liga at various clubs. Just imagine that sort of impact on Blackburn's history. Sam Allardyce.
Oh, we're taking it to techno now here on a Sunday night. Feel like Pete Tong. Good afternoon, you're listening to talkSPORT with me, Pete Tong. It's not, it's it's Majestic and Alan Pardew. Salute to Pete Tong, though, absolute legend. You know about Pete Tong, Pards?
Of course I know about Pete Tong. He's my era, wasn't he? He's about 75 now, isn't he, Pete Tong?
Do you know what? I've got to see how old Pete Tong is, because he's an absolute legend. You know what? Even my dad's friends talk about Pete Tong and some, like the Canberra Sands weekenders and stuff.
Canberra Sands, yeah, which used to be Pontins, I think. There used to be a Pontins there. I used to go on holiday there when I was a very little boy.
Do you know what? Pete Tong's older than you.
That's charming. Right, I'm going to tell everyone your age later on, just to let everybody know exactly how old you are.
39. I'm
39.
1987.
Exactly. Yeah. How old's Pete Tong? 72.
No, 65. Oh. 66 in July.
Anyway, ledge.
Absolute legend.
Ledge.
And
did he get an MBE or anything like that? Do them people get MBEs?
I'm sure Pete Tong's got, yeah.
He's
MBE.
got something, is he?
MBE.
Good boy.
Deserved. Yeah, the only reason I said that is because it sounded like a techno record. Right, I tell you who's going to be in the techno party in the changing room tonight will be the one and only Fabian Hertzler. Because we're on the Wurtzler with Fabian Hertzler tonight. Because before we go back to your calls, let's head to Old Trafford to hear from delighted Brighton boss Fabian Hertzler with talkSPORT's Mark Wilson.
Fabian, thank you for joining us live on talkSPORT. Your side were fantastic today. You must be delighted.
Yeah, I think we had a tough start today because United, they started strong. We had a lot of changes, so you could really feel they have to get used to each other. And then to find the courage to play out here away in United really helped us because we started to control the game, we started to create the chances, we scored a nice goal. We were better in our pressing and therefore was quite pleasing. We had to manage a lot the deep runs from them in the first half. I think we weren't always able to do this, but in the second half we changed that, and I think it was a pleasing performance overall, and we deserved to win.
You made changes today. Was that just to freshen things up?
I said it before, I'm not just making changes to change. I'm making changes because I have a trust in every player. I have a trust in the players who are on the pitch today. They not only play because I trust them, they also play because they deserve to play, because they're always there for us, they help us, and I think that's very important when you want to build a togetherness, that you can rely on each other, that you can be there if you are needed, and I think that's what the players who played today definitely proved.
I'm sure you would have expected Manchester United to start well. They had a couple of chances. Your goalkeeper made 2 really good saves, but from that point you started to dictate and you got the early goal.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I think in this phase to stay calm is very important, and in this phase to find the solutions by playing out from behind was a key bit. So a lot of teams get in panic, try to play only long, and I think we stick to our match plan, and I think that was very important in this phase because it helped us to control the game better and better and to get into the game.
The second goal so important, and what a goal. Danny Welbeck just continues to impress.
Yeah, definitely. Great goal scorer. I think he missed in the first half a big chance, but a great goal scorer never gives up and is always there. He was there in the right moment and had a great finish.
And in the second half, they had a lot of ball, but never really tested your goalkeeper out. You defended really well.
Yeah, we defended well. We still tried to play off from the back. I think we didn't finish our attacks well in these moments, but overall I was pleased with how we defended together. In the end, of course, it was more like a lucky punch that we conceded with the corner, and then it's getting quite emotional. The environment's getting louder, but especially in these moments, we showed good game management.
Brighton are an established Premier League team now. What would it mean to you to bring silverware to this club in the FA Cup?
Let's go step by step.
Step by step, and I guess next round you just want to be at home, do you?
It would be great. I think we were unlucky with our draws so far, so let's see what happens.
Congratulations on the win.
Thanks.
That was Brighton boss Fabian Hertzler speaking to the one and only Mark Wilson at Old Trafford. And Fabian is 33 years of age. So, you know, we've been talking about age. 33.
I know.
Brilliant.
So young.
Doing a great job at Brighton, isn't he?
Yeah, they've had some kind of strange results, but, you know, for his age and what he's done there, he's doing terrific. And he's obviously got a very good group of players there, young players with some good experience around them. And Welbeck, you know, just keeps banging them in.
Well, Danny Welbeck's 3 years older than his gaffer.
Yeah, that must be quite weird, mustn't it? Although, when I was at Crystal Palace, we had Stevie Coppell, who was our manager, who was 27.
Wow.
Yeah. I think Jim Cannon, who was there at the time, would have been about 4 or 5 years older than him.
We've got Kessie, the Newcastle fan, who has sent us about 19 of the same WhatsApp messages. So I'll read it. Manchester United are only a massive draw because of the obscene wages they pay. This is regarding the fans saying only Newcastle, who are in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup next round of the FA Cup, 12th in Champions League table and 6th in the Premier League table, while Man United's season is over.
Yeah, she's going to be in her bonnet because he said, you know, with all due respect to Newcastle, you know, your old team. That was a little dig. And I'm glad she's responded. Who was that? What's her name?
That was... who was that who come in there? It was...
She's gone.
Kessie, the Newcastle.
Well done, Kessie.
And do you know what? Andy's right. Fabian's 32, not 33. He's 33 next month.
Okay.
So he's almost 33.
Fair enough.
But thank you for correcting me on that.
6 years younger than you.
Yeah, I know. But we're both...
Almost exactly.
But we're both in our 30s.
Okay.
That's all that matters. We're in our 30s, okay?
I wish I was in my 30s.
Right, let's head back over to the phone lines because so many people want to get in touch. And let's speak to a Brighton fan.
Oh, that's good.
Let's go to Joe. How are we, Joe?
All right, boys.
Yeah, listen, going to Old Trafford. Light work for Brighton these days. Out of the last 5 times you've been there, you've won 3 times.
No, you know, like, I do feel bad for Man United, to be fair. Like, their downfall of the season. But, you know, Brighton don't get enough praise in my eyes. You know, they've gone there, weaker team, to beat Man United at Old Trafford in the first round of the FA Cup.
Well, for the manager, it's absolutely perfect because obviously he's made a few changes. And, you know, there's many times in the Premier League when you make those changes and you have to under such pressure from above, from the players themselves, from the squad to give these guys a game. Your fingers crossed that they can deliver, and they certainly delivered for Brighton today, didn't they? Your boys who come in. Yeah,
definitely. You know, and we were unlucky last season. You know, we made it to the quarter-final. We lost to Forest at home on penalties. You know, just hopefully we can just get one step further. You know, I think it's time that Brighton actually won a trophy.
Mm.
You know,
well, Palace did it
for me because my godparents supported Bournemouth, and then my best mate supports Spurs. So obviously Spurs have gone out last night, and Bournemouth have gone out yesterday as well.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of banter going on there, which is pretty good.
Yeah, see you in the 4th round, guys. Nah. Listen, Brighton, you know, that's a testament to Brighton today. To go to Old Trafford, when you saw that draw come up, you thought, it's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, like, as I say, you know, I looked at the other fixtures, you know, Bournemouth away to Newcastle. That's not an easy place to go, you know, and Villa, and the way that Spurs are at the moment, you know.
I know. I was like, and then Man City get Exeter at home.
I know.
They still had to do the job.
Yeah, with 10 goals.
They did the job
after buying Semenyo.
Look at the when they meet next. Is it next Saturday or next Sunday? That game.
City United is on Saturday. It is on talkSPORT. Listen quickly, Joe. Brighton, your season then. What would be a good season for you?
I want to push for Europa. The Europa League would, you know, I think
Well, the conference, even the conference, you take the conference. But at the moment, mid-table, I mean, we've been unlucky in a few games, but...
Well, you're only, what, 4 points off of the top 5?
Yeah.
Which is with 17 games to go, that's such an easily turn around.
And last season, though, we just missed out just by one space again. You know, we're just missing out. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, I think it's our time.
And you're right in terms of Brighton probably don't get enough praise in terms of, last couple of seasons, when Potter went before, is this going to be the end of Brighton? Then De Zerbi comes in, it did really well.
Well, I would say this, right, but not in the game. In the media, I think they don't get enough credit. But actually in the game when you talk to players and managers, they all talk very, very highly of Brighton.
Absolutely.
And the job that they're
doing. Great call. Thank you very much, Joe. Let's go to Chris, who's a Manchester United fan. How are you feeling, Chris?
Now then, mate, how we doing?
Yeah, not bad, my friend. How are you feeling?
Yeah, do you know what? I tell you what, that was the worst performance of the season from United, I think. I just genuinely... You guys are talking about who the new manager might be. For me, it doesn't matter who the new manager is. The squad is so poor. And do you know what? Bruno Fernandes, he takes a few pelters from United fans. I tell you what, take him out that side. That side is very average.
Do you know what, Chris? That leads me into a good point. You go in there tomorrow, you become the chairman of Manchester United. Who are you keeping at that squad?
Hey, in this modern world, it's not as easy as that, is it?
No.
With the money and what you've got to do to balance the books. But I tell you what, there's some players who are bang average in that side, and do you know what? They're doing just basic stuff, and do you know what? It frustrated the hell out of me. The goalkeeper, when Brighton were getting the ball, the goalkeeper would get the ball on the edge of the box. They'd have two defenders on the edges, and they'd fire a ball into the middle of the pitch. And the United midfield couldn't work it out. They did it time and time again. And this is the basic stuff that United are getting wrong so many times. And this is where I feel it doesn't matter what manager you have in charge, the players, the vast majority of them players are not good enough to be playing for Manchester United.
No, I know. I agree.
I just think it's crazy. You look at Sesko. I mean, don't get me wrong, he scored a goal. He followed up from what he did at Burnley. 2 great goals. He should have got an hat-trick. Don't get me wrong, because he fluffed a great chance to make it the hat-trick. He's got a goal today. But at the same point, you can't have a striker up front and not flood the midfield needs to be supporting that striker. Fernandes is firing balls into him. Great balls. Do you know what? Fernandes is one of the best passers of football in this country
really
right now. But you can't fire it into him, surround him with supporting players and expect him to keep hold of it, not expect him to be able to lay it off to somebody else. And I just think that the game plan is just... I don't know what the game plan is. We didn't know what the game plan was under Amorim. Fletcher is trying to make a fist of it. Whether Solskjaer comes in, well, he's not got the Midas touch, has he? Let's be honest. He's been out the game for a while. Everyone's expecting him to come in and do a great job. Well, we're the best one in the world. We're hoping he does that. But there's no reason he will, because there's a reason he's out of work. Yeah. He's not a top manager, is he?
It's a great point, Chris. Pards, there's no way that someone's going to come into Manchester United right now with the Midas touch, as Chris mentioned. There's no reason to believe Ollie's necessarily got that. But what would Ollie Gunnar Solskjaer do to that Manchester United squad right now in terms of being a presence?
Well, I know what I would do, right? And what I would do is play a high pressure game.
And that United better.
And you've got, and for that to happen, you've got to trust your back line. Now, this is where I think a lot of the managers, particularly Amorim, has gone like, oh, I don't trust the back line. And what they do then is fall between two stools. They're not high enough, so you can't put pressure on the ball. The opposition get confidence. They start passing. They keep the ball. Man United can't have wave after wave of attack. This happened at Spurs, right, in the first half, right? And I'll talk about what I think happened there. That was a different thing. But they're going to have to put Martinez, keep him in the team, and go bang, halfway line, and let's put this team under. Let's not let them play out. And I think that way it would get the crowd on side. It would create some excitement, and I think it would create results for them. So that's what I would do. I think if they do the opposite and go, okay, let's play safe let's make sure, we get a clean sheet and we build on that and we nick a result here and there and get our confidence. I can't see it.
Yeah. 03717 223344. Keep those calls coming in. The phone lines are open for you to have your say on national radio, on the world's biggest sports station. It's Majestic and Alan Pardew on talkSPORT.
Be there for Super Bowl 60 on talkSPORT.
That's right, our latest competition has landed, and this is your chance to be at the greatest show on earth, the Super Bowl on Sunday, the 8th of February. As well as a pair of tickets, we're chucking in flights to San Francisco. 3 nights accommodation and spending money on cover.
Spending money.
Listen up, here's how to enter. For your chance to win, text the word WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 418 7260. Lines close the 22nd of January 2026 at 4 p.m. That's when you'll need to answer your phone, if of course it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. Good luck. Right now on talkSPORT 2, there's live NFL playoff action as the Bills take on the Jaguars. Hey, Coach Parts, how's that one's going to go?
The Jaguars, I think.
The Jaguars? You think the Jaguars, Coach Parts?
There's another goal out.
Oh, my God. We're going to talk about that in a moment's time, which is followed by the 49ers taking on the Eagles. Download the talkSPORT app right now to hear all the action. We've got to say, we are in the studio right now being treated to El Clasico. Barcelona against Real Madrid. What have we just seen in the last couple of minutes? And, of course, they'll be covering this on Trans-Europe Express with Danny Kelly after the show, which is obviously one of the best shows on radio. What we just seen,
fantastic goals, fantastic play, like attacking flair, incredible.
It's just amazing. We've seen a 38-year-old Lewandowski, just the class of him. Before that, Vinicius Jr. with that run, just proving world-class ability. The different level that we see in their pods.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, these two clubs always got that talent in them, haven't they? Those world-class players, and wow, there's some fantastic play. But stay with the show with us. Don't go to your TV and watch it.
No, stick it on and put it on mute.
Have us on.
And have a listen to us, because I'll tell you why. We've not had her on for a couple of weeks. And it's Man United.
It's Jill.
Jill's with us. How are you, Jill?
Good evening, Madge. Good evening, Pods. How are you doing this evening?
We're enjoying this El Clasico in the studio, as well as
the Clasico.
Yeah.
Right, Man United.
As Inter take on Napoli on the other screen. This is, like sometimes you're treated to some good sporting stuff on the Sunday. We got the good night. This is my birthday present after Spurs let me down, Jill.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. You're out. I'm out. We can't even banter each other.
We've got to console each other, man. It seems to be the norm nowadays. Do you not think?
This show's Groundhog Day. I feel like Bill Murray.
Also, Pods, can you not come into Man United?
Oh, listen, I'd love to come into Man United. Michael Carrick would do a splendid job, but I think Ollie's got this one, and it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. How do you think his reaction will be, Jill, in terms of the fan base?
I'm okay with Ollie coming back in. I'm okay with Ollie coming back in, to be honest. And I think Carrick coming in with him will be good as well to the end of the season. I think that's what we just have to do that.
I think that might be a stumbling block. I'm not sure Michael would want to be number 2, so I'm not so sure that's going to happen. But we'll see.
What did you think about Mainu today, Baz?
Yeah, well, actually, I thought he was okay. I didn't think he was brilliant. And he certainly wasn't poor, and he looked like, a little bit more energy than Casemiro. So I thought he did well, bearing in mind that this is a kid who hasn't played at this kind of level for a long while. Been in and out or whatever, and put on the sidelines. I can imagine his confidence, and I think he's a confidence boy, has taken a little bit of a hit. So, what did you think?
I mean, I don't think he's much fit.
No, of course not. He can't be, can he? He's going to need 2 or 3 games.
But I think he's got to get a chance. And also, I'm like you, Baz. I'm worried about the back.
Yeah. No,
I just think we've got to get the players are not good enough. They weren't good enough with Amram. What do you do? What do you do? You can't change the players. You can't get them all of a sudden.
But I think
we've got to work with what we've got.
Yeah, but I think you've got to take a chance. I think you've got to take a chance with that back line.
So like ABBA.
Yeah, but I think they've got to be bold. Because I think if you sort of said, "Oh, they're not the best, let's protect them a little bit," I think you're in a whole world of pain with the team you got. I think you're going to have to go right. Let's go up against them. Let's get our 2 quickest centre backs and see if we can force the issue here, particularly at home. That's what I think you're going to need to do.
They're defending with Welbeck. What was going on there?
Yeah, I mean he wasn't close enough, was he? And he just let it run across him, and he had far too much time to hit that, and that has been the problem. I said at the start of the season, and on this show, that I thought Man United would struggle, not for scoring goals, but actually conceding, and that's how it's proved.
Exactly. So I've just got to keep the faith.
That's it.
Jill, I want to ask you quickly. Shea Lacey's sending off. Do you think that second booker was a little bit harsh?
Say again, sorry, I missed that.
Shea Lacey. His red card, do you think it was a little bit unfair, that second booking?
I do.
Yeah. I don't understand, like these referees, they go, under the criteria he had to go. The kid just come on, he's exuberant, just go over and tell him off. Don't do it again, son. I'd have to send you off. That's all it needed, didn't it, Jill?
100%.
Ridiculous.
Brilliant. Thanks for calling us, Jill. That was Jill, regular caller of The Final Word. We've been talking all things Manchester United. We will be turning our attentions, of course, to another... the other finalist of the Europa League last year, that's now at the FA Cup in the third.
The trophy holders.
The trophy holders.
Yeah.
And the trophy holders of the FA Cup are out. In Crystal Palace.
They are
it's
indeed.
A big weekend for Macclesfield, who are in National League North.
I mean, that's such a low level.
That's the same as what Enfield are in. Enfield are in National League South.
Of course.
They're at the bottom relegation fight at the moment.
You got to get out.
Come on, Enfield.
Conference.
Sort it out. 03717 22 44 44. As we've just seen a goal in Italy as well now. We are being treated to unreal football here as Inter go 1-0 up against Napoli. It's 2-0 in El Clasico. And, of course, after this show tonight is the brilliant Trans Europe Express with Danny Kelly. So you're going to want to stay tuned to talkSPORT all evening. It's Madge and Pards. It's talkSPORT.
There's a lot of talk about the independent football regulator. Some people love the sound of it, others don't. But what actually is it? And is it going to be any good for the game? In simple terms, it'll be an organisation not controlled by the Premier League, the EFL or the government, which will make sure all clubs are financially stable and don't rip off the fans. The aim is to make sure what happened to Bury, Derby and Reading doesn't happen again. Now, a significant reason clubs go under is because of dodgy owners financially mismanaging the club and running it into the ground. But in theory, these should be a thing of the past with the new regulator. They'll be able to use data from the National Crime Agency to perform stronger fit and proper persons tests and can even force owners to give up their stake in a club, which for certain supporters might be a welcome relief. It's likely good news for the EFL. The tension between them and the Premier League over a fair financial deal has been increasing in recent years. As it stands, talks have broken down. The Premier League backed out of recent negotiations, but the regulator will have the power to force through a deal, meaning more money for clubs lower down the pyramid. Now, this might sound simple, but in reality there's concerns this will open a legal can of worms, which could result in messy court cases involving the Premier League and the regulator. Parachute payments will be brought under the control of the regulator too. If they reduce them, it could mean a wider variety of clubs securing promotion to the top flight, but critics reckon it'll just mean the gap between the Premier League and EFL actually widens, as promoted clubs won't get as much money, which should normally be used to buy better players so they can compete. And current Premier League clubs have said if there were no parachute payments, they'd actually invest less, which would harm the quality of the top flight. And if clubs don't invest, then you'll get exactly what the EFL don't want, which is the same 3 clubs going down every year. And remember when Cardiff's owners changed the club's colours and badge? Well, in future, fans will have to approve any major changes to their club's heritage. Now that might all sound great, but do we really need it? Some say the downfall of Reading and Bury is an exception, not the rule. So as a whole, the most successful footballing pyramid in world football doesn't need regulation. They say it scares investors who can help grow the game. If those investors go elsewhere, well, the Premier League may no longer be the destination for the best players in the world. And others, well, they just don't trust politicians to appoint truly independent people to regulate.
Good evening, it is the final word phone, and I was just punching the mic there. That's how annoyed I am about Spurs being at the FA Cup. It is the final word with me, the miserable Spurs fan, it says here on the running order. Majestic, I'm not that miserable. And a man who knows all about getting into the FA Cup final, Alan Pardew. And we were talking about that last night with your West Ham team. So unlucky. One man, Steven Gerrard.
Oh, yeah.
He must haunt you.
Stevie Gerrard.
Do you ever wake up and you hear the name Gerrard? And since misery loves company, we'll be talking about Crystal Palace and Spurs very shortly.
Misery loves company. I like that line.
And right now we're the only place on national radio taking your calls about this kind of stuff. So keep them coming into us on 03717 223344. But now it is time for the quiz that gets more attention than Macclesfield Town beating Palace. It's the mystery footballer song quiz.
Oh, here we go.
And today, we're yet again talking about a man in a dugout. It's simple to play, as all you need to do is tell us which famous manager...
A man in a dugout?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. This is new to me.
Remember, it could be the clubs he's paid for, a nickname, or even his trophy cabinet. So, my selector, DJ Kitch, let's drop the song montage. Kasabian with Clubfoot. Big tune. Why are you looking so sad? Joe Dolce, shut up in your face.
So sad. It's a not so bad. It's a nicer place.
Oh, shut up in your face. And finally, Elvis Costello with Watching the Detectives.
Oh.
So that's Kasabian with Clubfoot and Joe Dolce, shut up your face, and Watching the Detectives, Elvis Costello. And may I add, it's a player, not a manager this week. Look, he's got his hand up, he's done again. You know, sorry guys, I've missed the penalty again. It is the producer, Ross. Didn't bother to change the sheet from the last time, did you?
He goes in the sin bin with all those players who come into the first team yesterday and let their managers down.
Yeah.
And they should have delivered. Going back to that, shut up at your face.
What a tune.
Ray Santilli was part of that, that got that song out. I'm not sure if he produced it or actually sung it. He's a friend of mine, and he was the guy that, remember Ant and Dec in Alien Autopsy?
I do, of course.
That was him. They played I think it was Ant who played Ray. He's a good guy. We'll get him on the show.
Yeah.
One day. Yeah.
If you think you know the answer to the mystery footballer quiz with those clues, text us at 81089.
We didn't give out any clues, really, did we?
Not really. We'll as it goes on, we will.
Yeah,
I made it too easy last time.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
03717 223344. On Saturday, we saw one of the biggest shocks in FA Cup history. A 6th-tier Macclesfield FC beat Crystal
How can
Palace.
Crystal Palace be the biggest shock of all time in the FA Cup getting beat?
Listen, they lost 2-1. And there's the biggest gap between, the Slay and the Slade.
It's a ridiculous media kind of headline.
Well, it's not, because this is how it sounded on talkSPORT.
Crystal Palace win the FA Cup. This is so special.
This is the biggest achievement what we could give to our supporters.
And so begins the case for the defence. Drawn against the lowest ranked team left in the tournament.
For Macclesfield to be playing the holders, really excited about what's in prospect.
The main thing for me today is the lads go and enjoy. You know, they've done ever so well to get this far, and go and enjoy a special occasion like this, because it might be the last time they get a chance to play.
I think this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You know, dreams come true.
It's Macclesfield that knocked the Eagles off their perch. This will be a game that will be talked about forevermore. He's fired in. Rich has got his head to it. Oh, Dawson! It is 1-0 Macclesfield.
What a moment. Love it. I didn't know how to celebrate. I'm not going to lie to you. It's for the club, it's for the community, it's for everyone. That is.
Oh, he's deflected in. Buckley Ricketts has made it two.
Wow.
Yeah, these are the moments you play football for.
Listen, that's the FA Cup for you, and stuff like this can happen.
There's also the added poignancy. Less than a month since lost one of the Macclesfield players in that horrendous accident, Ethan McLeod. Always remembered, and that just adds just a little bit more to this today.
It must be one of the biggest, if not the biggest shock of all time.
Macclesfield, who 5 years ago didn't even exist as a football club, have knocked the holders out.
That's how it sounded here on talkSPORT, as you just heard. Macclesfield knocking the holders, Crystal Palace, out of the FA Cup. But before we talk about the game, at full-time, Macclesfield boss John Rooney, yes, John Rooney, spoke to talkSPORT and had his
brother.
You know what? I don't know. It feels surreal, but you know, I didn't think I think we deserved to win the game. If we want to be totally honest, I thought every one of them from a man, from the first whistle, we seen the first ball getting the corner, we were on the front foot. Like, we didn't just sit back and, you know, soak it up, apart from the last couple of minutes where they had a little bit of pressure. You know, I thought we deserved winners, but listen, did the dream of it? Did they think we could do it? Probably not, but listen, that's the FA Cup for you, and stuff like this can happen, but it weren't just a fluke performance. I thought we were outstanding. Some of the stuff we played, and defensively we were absolutely solid, so I thought we were full deserved winners.
And on the flip side of that, Crystal Palace manager Oliver Glasner was not best pleased when speaking to talkSPORT after his side's exit from the trophy that they hold, the FA Cup.
Yes, congratulations to Macclesfield. So very disappointing afternoon, embarrassing afternoon for all of us, and no explanation, no excuse for the performance we showed. And so for me it's pretty clear we have now to make some changes. Whatever this is, I have to think now the next 2 days about it, and then we will change a few things, because this is not acceptable for anyone, not for the players, not for myself, not for the staff, not for the club. And yeah, let's see what kind of ideas I have.
So you heard it there. The manager Oliver Glasner was not best pleased with Crystal Palace. I'm going to give you some stats, Pards. Macclesfield FC play in the National League North, as I mentioned before. They are ranked 117 places below Premier League side Palace, meaning this was the biggest upset in the competition of all time in terms of league places.
Personal league places, exactly.
Yeah. Cup holders Palace are now 9, without winning 9 games. There have only been 9 non-league wins against top-flight oppositions in the past 100 years of the FA Cup.
Spurs won the Cup as a non-league team. I learned that yesterday.
Yes, indeed.
1901, does that sound right?
It's lucky for Spurs when the year ends in 1.
Ah, of course it is. That silly song.
It's not. It's truthful.
Anyway, let's go back to the Palace, right?
Yeah.
Because the biggest FA Cup shock was
your goal.
Liverpool, who beat us 9-0, for us to turn them over 4-3 in the semi-final when they were a proper team.
And who got the winner?
Even better than they are now. And it happened to fall on my head, yeah. But let's go back. Let's take nothing away from Macclesfield. They were brilliant. There's a couple of excuses I will offer up. I thought the pitch, I was told, didn't play very well.
Don't blame the pitch, Pods. Come on.
The manager was not very pleased with the players that he put in the team. He was very upset. But no, they, what a start to the whole weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well,
Saturday morning, it's a tough gig, that.
It set the tone for the FA Cup. As you said,
I think the Cup needed this weekend.
You said brilliantly in the green room, you said, I don't know why, but this felt like a really good third round of the FA Cup. And it's all the stories and the dreams that we've had over the years gone by. And I heard, Scotty Minto yesterday talking about, the FA Cup final, the day that everyone used to watch it from 9 a.m. until, final whistle. And it was that. And the
Incredible. That was part of the build-up. You'd have the wives doing little games, running up hills with soapy hills and stuff.
But that's funny because, even me growing up in the 90s, I remember every FA Cup final.
Of course. It was major.
Liverpool in that green and white kit losing 1-0 to United with Cantona, when Di Matteo scored for Chelsea against Borough, when United beat Chelsea 4-1. You remember all of them because the FA Cup's so special.
Sunderland, who now got a revive and, could go there. They won yesterday.
But we needed that for the FA Cup.
Yeah, I think the FA Cup desperately needs some sort of boost. And actually, the coverage that the Premier League gets, and it's all, that snobbish attitude that sometimes the Premier League can have, it kind of puts FA Cup down a little bit.
We had a call yesterday. I think his name was Paul, if I remember rightly. I hope it was. If it wasn't, I do apologise. But he is a Spurs fan, but he's a Macclesfield fan, right? So
so double up.
Yeah, so that's his local team. Like my local team's Enfield, for example.
Sure.
And he was so proud, and he's like, he started a Spurs supporters club from Macclesfield.
Yeah.
And he used to go down the Spurs with a big group. And he was saying about how he goes, the thing about teams like Macclesfield, etc., and some of the lower league teams, he goes, I can speak to the captain. I can speak to the chairman. I go over there and say, what's going on? He goes, and that connection to the football club is so spectacular. And I'm sure there's non-league clubs and people listening right now, absolutely just loving the buzz of the FA Cup.
Well, of course, and when you look at Bromley, for an example.
Oh, we love Bromley.
Who come out of non-league and now are ahead, leading League Two. But you still go down when you still go down there to watch Andy Woodman. Obviously, who's doing such a terrific job there. But you are connected. The players are up in the bar after.
That's it.
There's more feel to it than the Premier League, of course, where they're kind of they're brought in on a bus and taken out on a bus, and you don't get no contact. And likewise with the ball, you just don't get to see any members and get any chance to kind of vent your fury or actually praise people. So that's what is great non-league. I love that, and the community side of it. You can't imagine how important that is to some people.
What did you make of Glasner's comments as well, being furious like with his team?
Yeah, I think there's a part of it he's brought on himself. I think because he's obviously been moaning about the size of the squad for some time, and he was almost like he sort of see it coming. Oh, that we haven't got enough, and that's proved to be the case. So part of it might be that he's not been confident enough with the group, because in that change room it's very, very delicate. If the manager keeps going in saying, "Oh, we're not strong enough," the boys in the background, not sure. He's made least changes of any Premier League manager. So there are some sort of accusations you could throw his way. On the other side of the coin, of course, what a job he's done, to win the first trophy. They've never won a trophy before. The run of form they had the last calendar year has been exceptional. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for a very wonky game yesterday, no doubt about that. And so will Palace fans. They're hurting, but, they got that. They're still the holders, and they can live off that for the next 3 or 4 years for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, it was Palace fans would have said, look, if you win the FA Cup today, you'll be out in the third round to Macclesfield next year. They would have taken it
all day.
Yeah.
And so would Brighton fans, and so would so many other fans, Sunderland fans, everybody would, because it's a massive thing to win that cup.
Absolutely. Palace fans, give us a call on 03717 22 3344 to have your say on that result and what direction the club's going in. And yes, we'd love to hear from a Macclesfield fan. I'm throwing it out there to the nation, to the world, because we have listeners all over the world, by the way. Macclesfield fan, call us 03717
or a voice note.
Or voice note, 22 3344. As we've got El Clasico currently 2-2, Inter and Napoli 1-0, and guess who equalised for Napoli?
Not that Man United player. It couldn't have been
Scott McTominay.
Really,
the number 8. And I tell you, how good does he look in that kit? He looks $1 million, the boy.
Yeah, and
he's had a glow up.
He just keeps growing, that boy, doesn't he? Every time I see him, he looks bigger.
Do you know what? Imagine for Scott McTominay, who loved Man, he got Ten Hag out of a lot of trouble as well. He kept getting a last minute
he nicked those goals, didn't he?
Yeah.
That little period, didn't he? And it was always, I thought the media gave him a really hard time actually up there. And I'm talking about online and stuff, that he wasn't good enough and he shouldn't be in the team.
Yeah.
And it put extra. I didn't think he warranted that kind of criticism. Okay, some of his performances were a little bit lackluster, but he's a young boy. He's going to add them.
Absolutely. 03717 22 3344 is the number to call. It's Madge and Pard. Sunday night, it's the final word. Word every Sunday from 6:30 with League Manager of the Year Alan Pardew and Madge. And Shut Up Your Face. The first song, Kasabian, Clubfoot. Then Joe Dolce, Shut Up Your Face. And Elvis Costello with Watching the Detectives is the 3 songs to our mystery footballer. Any clues, producer Ross, I should be giving out?
I've got a clue for you.
What's the clue?
He's 39 as well.
Is he really? 39. So, Shut Up Your Face, Kasabian, the Leicester link, I think, there with Kasabian. Maybe. Shut Up Your Face. And Watching the Detectives, Elvis Costello. Interesting. If you know who the mystery footballer is, text 81089 or WhatsApp for free, 03717 223344. I can't help but thinking the detectives have something to do with his personal life. Maybe. That is the number to call. We are going to be speaking about Spurs in a moment, but before that, you know, you can never say that I'm biased because I want an Arsenal fan on, and we've got one.
Oh, good.
Let's go to Derek, the Arsenal fan. How are you, Derek?
Yeah, doing fine, man. Yeah, doing fine. Having a good day, just chilling out, you know, watching the football and that.
Well, there's some great football on right now. We're currently watching Inter and Napoli on one screen and Barcelona and Real Madrid on the other. We're being spoiled, Derek.
Well spoiled. It's a good show. I listen to it on a Sunday. It's nice to relax, you know.
Oh, thank you, Derek. We appreciate your support, and I tell you what, your support of Arsenal must be through the roof at the moment. You're on for the quad.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I think you know, I watch a lot of social media, and there's a lot of knee-jerk reactions with Arsenal, and I think at the moment we're in a great place.
Absolutely.
As a Spurs fan, I cannot agree more. And it obviously pains me to say it, but I've been saying this for ages. Arteta, he's had the support, he's had the backing. Derek, we've been talking, I'm not sure if you listened to the show from the start, but we've been talking about the mess at Man United, the mess at Spurs. One thing Arsenal have got right is they said to Arteta, you're the gaffer, we're going to do it your way. Let's bring your players in and your philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's saying it's been 5 years and he won the FA Cup and it was half due to Emery and things like that. But the thing is, when Arteta took over at Arsenal, it was a bad dressing room, fairly toxic. It wasn't really the best of players. There was a core that he knew he believed in, and he's turned the club around to be in a sort of not mid-table, but you know, below the standard top 40, the sort of mid-table when he took over. And now we've been challenging for the last couple of years. Okay, second, and people say no one remembers second, but I tell you what, the club will remember second in the way it's been run.
Well, and also for you, Derek, as a fan, right, the entertainment, going there winning and that winning mentality. I've seen the spring in the step of my Arsenal friends. My friends who are Arsenal fans right now,
can't wait to get there.
They're so proud of their club. They can't wait to go to the Emirates, you know. And as I said, I really put a lot of that credit down to Arteta and the way he really...
the one thing you do know about him is intense, right? Yeah. But he's starting to channel that in a much better way. I think his teams now are intense, aren't they?
Correct.
Like today at Portsmouth, that was a real test for them going down there. That is a really tricky place to go. And they really, and let's be honest, he made a few changes. It wasn't like he stuck with the first team. He made a few changes. He was bold, trusted them, and wow, they had the fight in them and dealt with it. Dealt with the very, very tight game, which they, you know, after about 35 minutes, they had the measure of Portsmouth.
Derek, let me ask you, right? Because, of course, as I said, the quad's on. You're flying high in the Champions League. You're top of the Premier League. You've got a semi-final of the Carabao Cup this week, and you're into the fourth round of the FA Cup with ease. What is success for Arsenal this season, Derek? He's pondering.
Well, I would say success. The high success is to win the Premier League for Arsenal. It really is, you know. But you know how some people say that if Arteta doesn't win it, that's it for him. I don't believe that, because if, just for example, if he didn't win it, he finished second, maybe got to the Champions League final, maybe won a Carabao Cup. You can't sack a manager for that.
No, you won't sack him if that happens. But I think if he doesn't win a trophy, let's just say one of those four doesn't come in, then I think I think the Arsenal fan base will be more than upset this time.
Oh, definitely, but he doesn't win a trophy and he finishes maybe second, gets to the Champions League final, you're probably right. Okay, Alan Pardew, I agree with that. I agree. But there's one thing I'd like to say before we finish the conversation is after the sort of maybe online sort of criticism of Martinelli when he did that to the Liverpool player.
Yeah.
A couple of days ago, for him to come back and to score a hat-trick, his first hat-trick for Arsenal, it shows the mentality and the strength of the guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And I think, what he did, I'm sure he regretted straight away. And, I've been in that position before. You're losing the game. The opposition are wasting time. He wanted to just get on with the game. He obviously didn't realise, I don't think, the
intense,
the nature of that injury that he has sustained. So some of that criticism was really harsh. And as you say, today it inspired him to jump a little bit higher, I think, than normal. He definitely got an extra inch in his height, didn't he, today, to get those couple of headers, and I'm pleased for him. Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
And also, when things weren't going well at Arsenal, there was a lot of clubs circling around him, but he said, no, the only club I want to play for is Arsenal. So I think a lot of people need to remember that,
Yeah, good point.
I've always thought he's a really good talent. When he broke onto the scene, never forget that game against Chelsea when he ran off and scored that goal. I think he's sometimes been harshly criticised by some Arsenal fans. I think he's a very good player. And we saw his quality today. I know against Portsmouth, with all due respect to Pompey. But yeah, listen, the less I have to wax lyrical about Arsenal, the better. But they are in a great position right now. And with Derek a little bit in terms of...
You know what I think quite impressive about them? And it's this. When Man City just went on that 6-7 game winning run and they put the heat right on them, didn't they? And they had to keep there was about 2 or 3 weeks where they had to win just to stay 2 points ahead. And then who was the team that gave in actually was Man City, which is very unusual. A couple of results that didn't go their way and now suddenly got the cushion back. So you got to pay tribute to that. That was a real first class attitude from Arsenal.
That's the first sort of part of the story.
Test.
The first part of the test. Exactly what I meant, not story. Test. Yeah. They got more coming. They got
Absolutely.
When they play Man City.
Of course they have.
When they go to Spurs away, and
they got
Spurs
Champions League to
everything
else.
Navigate.
Yeah, of course.
And a World Cup season, people not wanting to get injured.
Yeah,
lots to deal with. It's not over yet, but it looks very promising for Arsenal this season.
Correct.
That's some form of silverware.
That is well summed up, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. 03717 223344. Coming up next, I am legally obliged to talk about a team who ruined my birthday. My beloved Spurs. That's next on the Final Word here on talkSPORT.
Relegation have knocked Nottingham Forest out of the FA Cup. Macclesfield, who 5 years ago didn't even exist as a football club, have knocked the holders out.
Keep Bournemouth in the FA Cup. Right-footed forward he goes, save! Saved by Aaron Ramsdale, the hero of the shootout.
They have their moment, and what a moment for 19-year-old George Birch. Manchester City 10, Exeter 1.
Morgan Rogers has scored against Tottenham again, and it's yet more home disappointment for Thomas Frank and Spurs.
Enzo, right-footed, blasts it into the bottom left-hand corner, and that is 5-1 to Chelsea in Leon Rosenior's first game in charge.
Arsenal had a shock early on, but cruised through in the end, and the quadruple is on.
Welbeck left-footed, smashes it in the top corner, and the former Manchester United man, Danny Welbeck, might just have knocked Manchester United out of the FA Cup.
And that's how the weekend sounded on talkSPORT with wonderful FA Cup action. Absolutely brilliant, as always. On Saturday, there was an all-Premier League clash at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as Spurs took on Aston Villa in the FA Cup third round. And, of course, Pardew was there on Code Comms. Some Tottenham boos greeted the final whistle as Spurs lost at home yet again, with Villa going into the fourth round of the FA Cup with a 2-1 win. Let's hear from both managers, starting with the Spurs boss, Thomas Frank, speaking to talkSPORT's Joe Shennin about a fiery incident at full time.
After the final whistle?
After the final whistle.
After the final whistle. For me, Ollie goes celebrating just in front of João Palhinha. He's walking, bumping into him. I think that's very provoking. I don't think it's sportsmanship. Probably understand that we just lost a game narrowly. If that's one thing, we heated second half and everything's not perfect for us. That's why you show a little bit more class and just walk around your opponent.
I am delighted how the players respond on the field. The challenges we faced, firstly for this competition, FA Cup, and the history of Aston Villa. 7 trophies in this competition. Long time ago, but 7 trophies.
That was both Spurs boss Thomas Frank and Villa boss Unai Emery. And of course, who was in goal for Villa yesterday? Marco Bizot.
Bizot.
He was in goal yesterday. Right,
well, actually.
Yeah,
it did.
What did you make of the game? Because for me, as a Spurs fan who went there on my birthday, with my friends, my dad, my son, my best mate, James. Big up James McManus and Charlie McManus. Ruined, of course, by us getting knocked out of the FA Cup. The first half was dreadful. Second half, a lot better.
Yeah. Listen, you're playing against Villa, and sometimes on the training ground, you're going to make sure that your team is well set. So you encourage your team to get back into their shape quickly and make sure that this team don't play through the lines, okay? And I think that message, and I've had it as a manager where I've given my team that message, even at home, get back in your shape quickly, can be counterproductive, and it was for Spurs. So what they did was, as soon as the ball was turned over, they just went back straight into the shape. Yeah. But not only did they do that, when the balls were coming in between the lines, no one was actually coming out of the shape to confront the ball or confront any pressure. So therefore, Villa had far too much time on the ball. There was no pressure. It was like, and I've been on the sideline. I felt for Thomas Frank yesterday. What his team were actually too honest. They're literally taking him by word of what he said, and they've gone out there and played like robots.
Yeah.
And in the second half, he's obviously gone, okay, look, you got to step on them. Let's put pressure. Let's go full pressure. We got Van der Van at the back. His pace will help us. Go after them. And they went after them. And it was a completely different game.
It really was.
And much more even. And actually, fact, I thought Spurs were the better side in the second half. When the game was really kind of hot. And that's what Spurs have got to do. They've got to take that model to every half they play now at that Spurs stadium.
I agree with that.
Because if they step off like they did in that first half, if they give the opposition too much respect, they're going nowhere.
But that's why, for me, you've always got to start Palhinha. I think he's one of the instigators.
And he was terrific. Although he did do a couple of naughty tackles, which was part of the incident at the end.
He won the ball.
Both of them were overzealous.
Overzealous, but won the ball.
Yeah.
They're all fair. But
a referee will tell you can win the ball and still be booked on sent off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, they weren't that reckless. I thought one of them definitely was a yellow card. I think the tackle on Rodgers was late. He did one in the first half where Kamara, I think, got injured.
Kamara did get injured, yeah.
Yeah, so, he was but anyway, he's a catalyst for that. That's what he's about. Cutting balls out, which he did well, intercepting stuff, making tackles, driving the team on. He couldn't have done better. He was probably your man of the match.
Apart from Xavi Simons in the second half, who really did play a lot better.
Yeah, and he's starting to show a bit of confidence, isn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't do really much. He had a couple of little runs, but he has tremendous pace. And I think if I was Thomas Frank, okay, the defeat is. I really can't stand too many more defeats at home. He knows that as a football manager, but there were some positives in that performance, and he needs to see that as a blueprint. Remember what I said to you when I went into West Ham? It took me a while to get used to bossing games, to understanding how to keep pressure on.
That's exactly the point we need to make, because that pressure that we saw in the second half, the back's against the wall, because you need to go and get the goals.
And you got to take risks.
Yeah.
You see, you got to be like 1-on-1 with Ollie Watkins at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to do that.
And in actual fact, when Spurs last beat Villa, it was under Ange, away from home. I think John McGinn got sent off. I think we won 4-1. We did exactly that because of the high line we put.
Yeah.
1-on-1 with Ollie Watkins. So their game plan had to retreat to we'll play counter-attacking.
I'm not saying full Ange. That's not what I'm saying. But because you need to have kind of trigger points.
Full Ange would make it flange.
One thing that Ange did was that full press. But sometimes you can have trigger points. Let one centre half have it, and as soon as he makes the pass, bang, we're going. And that wasn't happening in the first half. There was no trigger points. There was no pressure. And Villa just played through you. And
they sliced us open.
And by the way, Rodgers, isn't he lovely to watch?
Do you know what excites me about that is he's coming to the World Cup.
Yeah, for sure.
And do you know what? I know they're different players, but in terms of the confidence and what he's doing, and it made me really sad yesterday watching Aston Villa, because it reminded me of Spurs and Poch. A couple of years ago, this lad's playing for Middlesbrough in the Championship.
Yep.
Dele Alli. It was like Morgan Rogers is like Villa's Dele Alli. They've gone and got him from the Championship, who's done really well. He's turned that into the Premier League, become an England international. Like Dele Alli went to the World Cup, scored at the World Cup. And it just made me realise how far Spurs have gone away from those moments there with Dele Alli and Kane and Son and Eriksen.
I just need to get something off my chest about that, because you're absolutely right. The snobberish attitude to the Championship by technical directors in the Premier League is astounding. Because if you don't think there's another Rodgers in the Championship now, somewhere out there, there is definitely. There is somebody out there who's good enough to be in a Premier League team, for sure. And they just get completely washed away unless they get promoted. They get promoted, they have a year, maybe they get relegated like we've had recently, then they get bought. Oh, suddenly they're good Premier League players. No, they were the same player they was in the Championship. I wish some of these clubs would stop looking abroad for the new shiny diamond and look at some of these coarse, rough diamonds that we got in the Championship and find themselves a real nugget.
Oh, like you said before, look at Gyökeres. We had to let him go.
Sporting Lisbon
to then
become a shiny diamond in a lower league.
What is that down to? Is that laziness? Is it trust?
I think it's because technical directors are foreign and they know foreign agents.
Okay.
And I think that is a big part of it. I think they trust the agents that they know, and those agents they know are giving them foreign players, and they're giving them the shiny, bright thing in Belgium, in Italy, and in France in particular, and completely ignoring the Championship. I just do not think, with the exception of maybe Brighton, Brentford and Crystal Palace, who have done really well in the transfer market, who I think do shop around in those areas and have got a good handle on it. But some of the top clubs don't.
Do you think, for example, when the guys come in from the Championship like Morgan Rogers, they can get up to speed in the Premier League a lot easier because the Championship's intensity is there?
Yeah, and when you look at the players who have come in this year, the influx that we've had, actually the successful ones have been out of the Bundesliga really, and also the Championship. The ones who have come up, the Sunderland and the Leeds, etc., etc. So, that intensity is a big part of the Premier League, and where Højlund has struggled, where Sesko continues to struggle, where Gyökeres, who is adjusting back to it, because obviously he had it at commentary. That intensity is a big part of success in the Premier League. Some foreign players get it straight away. They're brilliant. But some take times. Look at Semenyo, who's not long out of the Championship himself.
Already.
And this is a kid who got rejected here, there and everywhere. And now, and his conduct, by the way, this week was exemplary, wasn't it? The way
Apparently, you told me something quite nice about him.
Well, he took a full-page advert in the local paper to say thank you to the fans. And I mean, when you're talking about a citizen, a good citizen, wow, this guy is taking it to another level. He really is a top fella. And that's why Manchester City want him. Not only is he technically a great player, got a long throw, left foot, right foot, good in the air, marks at set plays. Wow. You know, where does it stop?
Yeah, and that's the kind of person Pep wants. See, Pep likes personalities that he can get on with as well, doesn't he?
Of course.
Brilliant stuff, Pards. Let's talk about Chelsea. Of course, they got a new boss in Liam Rosenior, off and running, a 5-1 victory over Charlton, which I think flatters them a little bit in terms of the scoreline because the goals were quite later on, and I think Charlton fought really well. But that's what you want as the gaffer. He's got a massive game this week in the Carabao Cup. Yesterday, I was on with Chelsea fan and broadcaster Rory Jennings, who said that Liam Rosenior is the most undeserved managerial appointment of all time. What do you make of those comments?
Well, I don't agree with that at all. But what I would say is that he's getting this job without really having the experience, in my mind, to manage a club of Chelsea, that magnitude. Yeah. And he's going to have to really find his feet really quickly. I mean, to get off to a winning start is great, perfect. He put a lot of the changes in. He didn't stick with the first team, just to get a win. He made the changes that he needed to, and he'd be under pressure from the board to play everybody. So he's going to have to rotate it. He's going to have to absorb a lot of that information, but still be his own man. He's obviously, his dad is a legend in the game, and he will be guiding him. And I hope that he manages to pull it off. But let me tell you, it is a very, very difficult task that he's got.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had a message here in regards to Spurs. Frank has to go. I was going to give him at least 3 transfer windows, but when a man with his intellect and knowledge of football walks out holding an Arsenal Cup when they're on top of the league and we're an absolute joke, he's done it for 1 or 2 reasons. 1, he wants out and quick, or 2, he's extremely thick with no knowledge of football rivalry and doesn't deserve a job in football. Get him out of our already joke of a club.
I can't even believe
that's from Tony.
Yeah, but you can't even read that out, really. I mean,
you're not feeling it?
No, I'm not having that. It's rubbish. The times that, as a manager, you get stitched up by people for whatever reason. They think it's funny or whatever. He had no idea that was an Arsenal club. No idea whatsoever.
Well, surely that's...
all that internet stuff that he's had to suffer.
But who did I hear say...
blow.
I mean, it might have been Simon Jordan who said that really shows lack of attention to detail.
Well, you could you could argue that, but I would suggest, and I've been in that situation, you just pick the cup up. Is this mine? Yeah, and you're not even looking. You a million things you got to think about in that dressing room. I've really felt sorry for him on that because that was added pressure. He's had the internet, not the internet, sorry, the social media post at the end by his captain. He's had to address that. He's got all sorts of fires. But the thing that really evident yesterday, Madge, in that stadium, with a fan base as well, is that there's a lot of pressure in there.
Big pressure.
There's so much pressure on those players, and they're doing things that they perhaps shouldn't do.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the manager taking his eye off the ball in terms of not seeing Arsenal on the cup. I mean, does it really come down to that? Then, yeah.
Right, check out the latest talkSPORT daily podcast where Sam Allar, Scott Minto and Perry Groves debate how to improve the offside law. They delve into Arsene Wenger's proposed daylight offside and discuss how it could reshape the attacking play, defending and VAR. Listen on the talkSPORT app or wherever you get your podcasts. And talking of laws of the game, we will talk about VAR next on The Final Word here on talkSPORT. Sabian and Clubfoot is the first clue of the mystery footballer quiz.
It's a not so bad. It's a nice
Joe
place.
Dodge, shut up in your face.
Watching the detectives.
And watching the detectives, Elvis Costello. So many people got involved, including Mike Intring, who also said, great show, boys. Now, do you know the answer?
It's Mr. Hotshot Vardy.
That's right, Jamie Vardy.
Who is birthday today.
Is his birthday today? Oh, yeah, 11th, I knew that.
Yeah.
He's my age.
39.
Yeah. I remember when he was like tearing up the Premier League, and I'm looking at him going, oh my goodness, this man's my age.
I mean, you know, when people are talking about that we're going to live longer, you know, I mean, Elon Musk talked about everyone's going to live to 100. There'll be no problem. You know, you need more than the pension to get to that kind of age. But footballers, there's a good chance that they're going to have longer careers because of the recovery methods that we have, the training methods that we have, the supplements that we have. And Vardy's maybe, I mean, he doesn't look like he's, I mean, what has he lost, like half a yard?
Yeah.
If that, he still looks lightning quick, still scoring goals in Serie A. So well played to him. And well played to his career. Wow, 39 and done all what he's done. Premier League winner, etc., FA Cup winner. Incredible.
Is Imagine Pardew on talkSPORT?
Where did he come from?
Non-league. Non-league, yeah. Imagine Pardew on talkSPORT. Let's talk about VAR because it's been a weekend without VAR. And I was at the game on Saturday.
I thought we was going to get a call tonight of somebody actually ringing in saying, thank God we didn't have VAR this weekend. Wouldn't it have been brilliant? I thought we'd have had a caller, actually, because that's how I feel.
It's been good because even the 2 goals that Spurs were given offside, he didn't just, like, once it was given, he was like, okay, what can you do?
Yeah.
It's offside. Let's move. Like, you weren't sitting there for minutes going, let's check his kneecap.
Yeah, exactly.
It's his second big toe onside.
And you know when the referee was going, bang, it's a goal, and pointing to the halfway line, it's a goal.
Correct.
It's not like, we got to wait and have that 3-4 minute delay because, you know, he blew his nose at the wrong time.
Yeah, it's just... Is there any way to go back to having no VAR?
No, I'm not so sure about that. I think it comes in, doesn't it? I'm not sure if it's the next round or the round after. But certainly, they've obviously done it because some of the smaller clubs, they just can't cover them all. But, you know, we've all got issues with VAR. It'll be interesting to see how the World Cup it plays out. Be a big test for it.
But like you said, I think the enjoyment of like a goal going and you going, it's a goal. There's no VAR.
Yeah,
was definitely good.
It was nice, wasn't it? And I think fans in the stadium, in particular, I think on TV and you know in our world, the media world, it's great and it creates talking points, etc., and you know you can analyse things and blah blah blah. But actually in the stadium, it's been a negative, isn't it? Where you know you don't know whether to celebrate or you do celebrate, and then oh my God, you got the huge disappointment, or you celebrate again. When it's finally given after the 4 or 5 minutes that they take.
And then you play another 4 or 5 minutes at the end of the game.
Yeah, there's that too, 100 minutes. Yeah.
You'd be very frustrated if you was a manager then, wouldn't
you? Definitely.
Pards, a couple minutes before we go over to Danny Kelly and Trans-Europe Express, anything else you want to talk about from the weekend?
No, not really. I just think it's been a great advertisement for the structure because sometimes I think that gets underplayed. What a great structure we got in this country. No other country has got this many leagues. No other country would have a Macclesfield turning over Crystal Palace. That just doesn't happen in another country. So be thankful for that. And also for our fans. I mean, when you think about all these football clubs, they're all got their own fan bases, of course. Some are huge, like Spurs. I was so impressed with that stadium. And, of course, 62,000 in there, although there was a few empty seats.
Yeah.
And all these stadiums that were full up, Macclesfield, full up. Brilliant.
It is the reason why we love the FA Cup and the reason why a big game, and of course one of the sad things is now you don't get the replays, so you can't go back to the big club's house and stuff. But it seems some people give their gate receipts to the lower teams this weekend and stuff like that. There were some nice gestures, I believe.
Yeah, well, usually there is, in my experience of non-league was that, you know, we would get, sometimes you'd get the TV money or a bigger share of the TV money. You know, the host club, be it a Premier League club or a Championship club, would give you a few extras.
Yeah.
And that's always nice. And not only that, sometimes you get a nice link to a team, you know, and you might do a transfer to that particular team of a young player, or you might get a player on loan. So all those connections are made this weekend too.
Yeah, it's been a brilliant weekend, and well done to our colleagues here on talkSPORT for fantastic coverage, and we will have you covered, including the FA Cup fourth round draw. And of course, this weekend we got this week. We got both EFL Cup semi-finals. Both.
Yeah, who do you fancy, by the way? Who are you going for? Let's have a prediction.
I think Chelsea.
Chelsea to beat Arsenal.
Yeah.
He'll make a few changes, I think, Arsenal. I think Liam will go monster strong in terms of his selection. So that's possible. And Newcastle, Manchester City?
Man City. I know you're going to go Magpies. Oh, nearly another goal for Højlund.
No, I'm going to go Newcastle. I think Pep will make a few changes and Eddie won't. Eddie's going to try and win that.
Well, don't forget that.
Again.
Don't forget that on Tuesday night, Newcastle take on Man City in the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg, presented by Adrian Durham, commentary from Jim Proudfoot and former England striker Dean Ashton. And then on Wednesday...
What team that is, by the way?
Oh, Chelsea and Arsenal. The Carabao Cup semi-final presented by Adrian Durham, commentary from Sam Matterface and former England midfielder Danny Murphy.
Not so good.
The talkSPORT breakfast returns on Monday, where Jeff Stelling is joined by Super Ali McQuaist to look back on a huge weekend of FA Cup action, and they'll speak to motorsport legend, 1996 Formula One world champion Damon Hill.
Really?
What a ledge!
I love Damien Hill. And his father Graham Hill.
That was my time watching Damon Hill and Schumacher fight. Getting out of the car, do you remember?
Well, let me tell you that we haven't had many world championships, but world champions. We do now, Lando Norris, and we have two there too.
Listen, if you need music in your life, you can swipe across on the talkSPORT app to our good
you
friend
haven't
Chris
promoted
Evans.
anything yet, by the way, of yourself. Haven't we got no real records out? What's going on?
We got records out. There's always something out. If you want to listen, if you want to help me out, head over to my YouTube channel.
Yes, let's do that.
Majestic Online on YouTube. I've got a YouTube channel, so it's Majestic Online on all my socials, by the way. The Final Word returns next Sunday, but next up is one of the best shows on radio, especially tonight after we're currently watching Barcelona and Real Madrid in El Clasico and Inter Milan against Napoli in Serie A. It is the Trans-Europe Express with Danny Kelly. That's all to come next, but from me, Madge and him, Bards.
It's a very good night.